Okay, it is working now. So let us revise first the definition of topology. So topology is a uh, on a given set X is a collection tau of subsets of X which satisfies these three properties. First property is null set and the full set X should be in tau, belongs to tau. And if I have a finite collection of elements of tau, then the intersection of those elements of tau also belongs to tau. That is the second condition. And third condition is that whatever collection of elements of tau we take, ui, where I belongs to the index set capital I, then its union should also belongs to tau. So this is the definition of the topology, and we have seen trivial examples that the trivial topology we can define on every set X, and we can also consider this another trivial case that we can take tau to be the full power set of X. That is another example which is known as discrete topology on whatever X is given. And if I take a X to be the finite set 1 comma 2 comma 3, then there are 2 power 3 8 elements in the this topology, discrete topology, and whatever elements of tau are there, if tau makes the topology, there the elements of tau are known as, we will call them open sets. So this is topology in open set. And then we have seen one non-trivial example on a set X, which is a cofinite topology. So what is cofinite topology? The X is the given set and tau contains the subsets of X whose complement is a finite set or the full set X. So your complement can be either a finite set or its complement is the full set X. So this topology we have verified that this makes the topology. All three axioms are verified, and this topology is also known as finite closed sets. So because we know that the complement of open set, we call such a set closed set. So here the set U is open if its complement is a finite set. So that means U is open, then its complement is closed, and which is a finite set. So this topology is known as finite closed topology also in one of the book which I have read recently. That is not a standard name, but that book has used that. And then this is a standard example that we know that actually this is the motivating example of the topology, that if I take X equal to R, then the sets we call which is open, U is a subset of R. U is open if for every element X in U there is a neighborhood around X, that means the open interval around X which is contained in U. So this satisfies all the properties of topology, so that we
Sir,
have
can you
very
please repeat?
what this example.
Yes, example.
So X is the real line. So we want to define the topology on the real line. So what is the topology on real lines? We know the open sets. So that makes the topology. So what is meaning of open set on the real line? So every element X in U, there exists a neighborhood. So this is basically the
Interior point.
neighborhood. Yeah, basically the interior point, right? So every point in that set is basically the interior point. So that is exactly this condition.
Yes, yes, yes.
So using the interior points, we define the open sets. So open set is what? Elements of tau. So for the standard topology, these both are same. The elements of tau are actually the open sets in the sense of real analysis. So therefore, this topology is known as standard topology. because elements of tau are open in the real analysis sense, in the actual sense. So therefore we call this topology to be the standard topology. And similarly R2 also we can discuss. So you can check this same way we can verify this axioms of topology for R2 instead of R. And then we discuss some of the basic example that two topologies are given, then how can we find a bigger topology than these two topology and the smaller topology than these two topology. So whatever we discussed just now, we define the open sets in terms of interior points for the real analysis. So in real analysis, if we see that what are the basic open sets, so open sets we know in real analysis. They are, if we
If
take real,
a set contains all its interior points, means all its points are interior points, then it is called open
that
set.
that is open set. Now what are the simple open sets? Easy open sets. Easy example of open set which trivially satisfies this property.
A trivial set.
No, trivial means null set. That is okay, but not null set.
Hmm.
What are
Other
the
than that,
simple other than that? Or you give any example of a open set on real line. What are the examples? This is a trivial question. Everyone should answer this. What are the examples of open set in R? Real analysis, I am asking.
any open interval we can take, sir.
Exactly. So that is a open intervals are there.
Okay,
And
intervals.
yes. So what are the other set other than a open interval? What are the other open sets on the real line?
A countable collection of open intervals.
Yeah, countable or even arbitrary. Empty set we already know it is open set.
Yes.
Real line also we know it is a open set. R is open in R. And as you said, the intervals are also open, right? And arbitrary union of interval are also open. So examples, let me just note down this thing, that examples of open sets or basic examples of open sets. So in R, uh, with real analysis approach, open sets are, so the examples I am just taking simple examples. So first example is you can say open interval AB where AB are real numbers and of course A should be less than B. So these are the trivial example. Another example you can take is, so you can even take the numbers, actual numbers. So interval 1 2 union, let us say 3 4. So this is also open. So in fact we can take even arbitrary union also. So So what is union of these?
I think R.
Yes, so that is the whole real line, because we are starting with the interval -1 to 1 open interval, then union interval -2 to 2, then union interval -3 to 3. So it is the intervals are increasing. So as n goes to infinity, it will cover the whole real line. So it is the whole R. So this is open set. So these are the examples. Now in these examples, can we observe that the fundamental examples are actually the intervals? So we are getting all other examples
Yes, sir.
by taking the unions, right? So in that sense,
Yes.
the basic example of open set is a open interval AB. And so let us try to extend the see the notion of basis, and then we'll come back again to this example. So, this is the definition of basis. So let X be a set. So always we are taking non-empty set. We are saying it is a set, but obviously it is a non-empty set for the trivial reason. The basis for a topology. So here I am defining basis for a topology on X, on set X, is a collection. So again, since the open sets are element of tau, and tau is a subset of power set of X. So the basic open set should also be the subset of power set of X. So basis is a collection which is a subset of power set of X, which satisfies certain properties. So what is the first property? First property is that I take any element of X, there exists an element in this collection such that X belongs to this set B. So there is a difference in this notation. This is an element and this is a family. So therefore I am denoting in a different way. So just note that this is a family. So this is not this capital B. It is a this way I am writing. You can also write differently like this, whatever you like. So this is the first condition. So if you, and the second condition is that if I take any element which is contained in two such elements, so therefore X belongs to B1 and X is also belongs to B2, where B1 and B2 are elements of B. Then I can find another B3 which is element of this family such that X belongs to B3 and B3 is a subset of B1 intersection B2. So this is just a definition. Let us try to understand the definition first. So let X be a given set, a basis for a topology. I don't know what topology as of now. Later on I will explain which topology this is a basis. So if you recall the notion of vector space, then we define a subset of a vector space which is a basis if it satisfies two conditions, linearly independent and it spans the whole space. So same way, here we are defining if X is a given set, a basis B, which is a subset of power set of X, is a collection of subsets of X which satisfy this property, that if I take any element of X, there exists an element of this family so that X belongs to that element. I can always find such an element B for every X, and if I can find two such elements for a single X, then I can find another element B3 which belongs to the intersection of these two. So if we compare this with the basic example of the intervals in real life, then you can see this. So for example, I have a real line. So if I take any element X here, so can I always find what I will consider here B to be the intervals AB, so that A is less than B and A and B are real numbers. So if I take any element X belongs to R, can I always find the interval around that? You can always find, right? You can take the interval X minus 1 to X plus 1. So this is element of B, so that X in this interval. So this is exactly this first property. So it is kind of interior point. Every X in the set is an interior point. And what is the second property? If X belongs to two intervals, if X belongs to A1, B1 and X belongs to A2, B2. So can I find, so let me call this is interval A1, B1, and X is also belongs to another interval A2, B2, or B2 I can take here also. Let us take. So can I always find interval A3, B3 so that X belongs to A3, B3 and which is subset of these two intervals, intersection of these two intervals. So this is a question, can I find such an interval?
Yes, sir.
So how can we find? That is true, we can find, and it is
Actually, sir,
so what we can
the
do.
intersection of open interval is itself an open interval which contains X.
Yes, so that is again an interval. That is true. So basically, if I take intersection of these two, then what finally I will get is intersection will be so. Am I audible?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Just yeah, just 1 second. Uh, this PDF I have some issue.
Okay, sir.
Let me open it again. Okay. So is it visible now?
Yes, sir.
Okay,
It is
so
visible, sir.
okay, very good. So this interval we are basically taking the intersection of interval a1 b1 and a2 b2 in the figure. So when I take the intersection of these two, I will get this particular interval. So that is the interval a1 to b2. So what will be this interval? That will be basically a1 to b2 interval. So we can always find such a set in the real analysis case. Now the question is that if x equal to r, then it is clear that the interval satisfies all the three conditions of the basis. So these are bases when I consider x equal to r. Right. So this is first example. So if I take x equal to r, this family B satisfies these both conditions. But what about if x is not r? So if I take any arbitrary set x, or if I take x equal to r2.
So the basis is that collection of all open intervals a comma b types for R.
So can you repeat again what you are saying?
Sir, you were telling that for R it will be collection of all open intervals of a comma b types. That you were saying a
Yes.
basis.
Yes. So for example, if I take, so that is what the first example we discussed, that if I take x equal to r, then if I take B to be the collection B to be the collection of all intervals, then this B satisfies these two properties of basis, and in fact we can write down that. So therefore B is a basis on x equal to r. So my handwriting is little bit not good because I am writing on screen. So this is first example. Now second example which I want to discuss is take x equal to r2. So what is the obvious choice we will take here for the family B?
Open disk.
Exactly. So this is correct answer. So, so what is B? B is the U such that U is a open disk in R2. So in fact, we can write this in a better way also. So you can write as a open ball center at A, radius R, where A belongs to R2 and R is greater than 0. So we know what is the open ball. Open ball is nothing but x in R2. So this is basically a vector x bar, whatever notation we write, so that modulus of x minus a is less than r. So x and a both are elements of R2. So in fact we can write instead of a comma b, and instead of x comma y also we can write. So geometrically, what is this open disk? We already know that it is interior of the circle is center A, radius r. So all these points interior of these are the elements of open ball. Interior of this is a open ball. So can we verify these two properties? Let us say geometrically. So that will give more idea about this definition. So what the first property says that if I want to verify that the collection of all open disk in R2 satisfies this true property of the basis. So first property says that if I take any element of R2, then I can find the open disk so that X belongs to that open disk. And second property, if I want to verify, I have to check that if I take any element X which is belongs to two disk, then I can find third disk which is in the intersection of the first two disk. So let us verify this geometrically for this particular example. So we want to verify that B satisfies two properties of the basis. So let us check the first property. So what is the first property? First property is that I take any element of X. X is R2 here. So that means I take any element of R2. I can always find element of B. So element of B here is a disk. So that means I can always find a disk which is around that point X. So it is clear because for every point I take X comma Y in R2, take the ball around the point XY with radius, let us say 1. So this is clearly element of B, family B, and XY is belongs to this ball. So I said I will explain geometrically. So what is geometrically? Geometrically, if I take any point in R2 XY, I can always find a disk around this point which has radius 1. So radius is 1. So this is the disk B XY radius 1. This is element of B. So if I consider X to be R2 and B to be this collection, then this family B satisfies first property that we have verified. Now what about the second property? So second property says that for every point XY which is in two disks, so if XY belongs to BXY R1 and so here center is not necessary should be the same, because we are taking all the disks centered at any arbitrary point. So for the second property, we take it is centered at AB, and suppose XY is also in some another disk. So let us say CD. So can we say that there exists a disk centered at, let us say, another center with a new radius, so that XY is in this disk is contained in both the disks. So this element of B. So this we need to verify actually. I have written this, but geometrically we need to verify. So let us see what is the geometrical meaning of the second property for R2 and with respect to the open disk. So this says that if I take point xy, if this point belongs to two disks, so for example it belongs to this disk, I don't know what is the center, but it is a circular disk, and it also belongs to this disk. So this is my ball radius at AB, center at AB, radius R1. This is another ball or disk which is centered at CD, radius R2. So can we find third disk which is belongs to two disks, both these disks, and it contains the point xy? Is it true?
Sir, please repeat.
So I have a point xy which is contained in two open disks. So can I find a third disk which is contained in the intersection of these two disks, and that disk contains point point xy?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
That is true, right? So let me try to draw that disk with some different color. So if these two are the open disk which contains, I don't know what is center of these two disks, that may be different from xy, but whenever this two disk contains xy, I can always find a disk around xy with the small radius. In this disk also, I don't know what is the radius, it may be something different from xy. So this point, let us say center is E and F, but it always contains this point xy, right? So for more understanding, the better figure is given in this your book. So let me draw in better ways. So if I take kind of two disks, then I can always find a third disk which is inside these two disks and contains the given point. So this is the idea of this third property. So if you see that what is the kind of basic open sets in R2, they are the disk, and if you have two such disks, you can always find a smaller disk which is contained in two disks. So that is this idea. And if you want to be more precise, you can actually find some formula for R3 also in terms of R1 and R2 and the center. Okay, so any other example? So therefore this B is a basis for x equal to R2. So can I take a rectangular region on R2? So this open disk means interior of circle. So if I take U is the interior of a rectangle in R2. So does this satisfy the property of basis? If I
Yes,
take
sir.
any point of R2, I can find a rectangle around that point. So such a interior of the rectangle I can find. The same way, if I take two rectangle around a point, I can always find a smaller rectangle which is contained in that two rectangles. So let me explain that second condition. So if I take a point X,
Sir, if we see in means in a plane, then we can also means geometrically we can see that this will happen.
yeah. So this for example, X is I am taking in this rectangle. So this is my U1, interior of this rectangle. So interior means all the inside points, all these points inside this rectangle. So U1 is basically what? It is not the points on the rectangle. It is the point inside the rectangle. So U is this, but it is defined using this rectangle. So that is containing this point X. Now if I take another rectangle which contains X, so let us say this rectangle. So this will define my U2, define using this rectangle. So I can use actually other colors also. So U2 is this, all these points. So that also contains X, and then I can find a rectangle which is belongs to both of these rectangles, smaller one. So which contains all these points. So therefore this is also a basis for R2. So why I discuss this, because this is a different than the disk. So there can be many bases for a particular set. So one more example I would like to explain. So if I take let X be any set, so can we verify that B is equal to, I am taking singleton set X. So is this B satisfy these both properties for a topology on X? So we don't know. X, capital X is any finite set. It can be infinite set. It can be R. It can be R2. It can be any set, countable, uncountable, any set X which is given. On that X set, I am defining this family B. So clearly, B is a subset of power set of X. All right. The elements of B should be subsets of power set of X. The elements of B should be in the power set of X. So does this B satisfies these two properties? So let us check this and
Yes,
then
yes,
yeah.
sir.
So what are the two properties? First property is, so answer is yes. Answer is yes. So what is, let us check the first property. First property says that if I take any element small x in the capital X, I can always find elements of B which contains that element. So let X belongs to X. Then what is the obvious choice of the set from this family which contains X?
Singleton X.
singleton X. So then singleton X belongs to B such that X belongs to X. The first property is satisfied. What about the second property?
Sir, it is vaguely true.
It is triviously correct. Why? Because if I take
Sir,
X
if
element,
only P implies
yeah,
Q,
if I take
yes,
element X and then if I take
P is always
two
false.
sets which are singleton sets which contains X, then what should be that singleton set? It should be singleton X only. So basically B1, B2 will be same in that case. So for the second property, if I take X belongs to two sets, let us say Y and X is in the singleton Z, then what is Y and Z? Y should be X, because if X is an element of singleton Z, then that element should be X only. So that means singleton Y is exactly singleton Z, because Y is X, Y is Z is X, that means Y and Z are same. So we can take, what will be B3? So this is basically I am taking B1. X is in B1, X is in B2. So what will be B3 here? B3 will be the same set. So therefore, X belongs to B3, which is a subset of B1 intersection B2. What is B1 intersection B2? That is again X. So this second case is trivial in this case. So now question is that B is a basis for a topology. Which topology we are not mentioning? So which topology? So that is next question. So without knowing tau, we are defining the basis. So for example, if I have vector space, if I know that there is a some set which is linearly independent in that vector space, then what is the span of that? So that will make a subspace, right? So the same way, if I have a X is a set, I have a basis for that. Then what topology? Which topology it will generate? So what will be the? So what is this question? The question is that if I know B is a basis of X, then for this B, what is tau? For this B, what is tau? So let us go to the next definition. That will give us the definition of the basis, definition of the topology. So if B is a basis for a topology on X, then the topology generated by B is given by, so the definition is, we can write tau simply, or we can also write tau B because it is coming from B. So that is U, which is a subset of X. U belongs to power set of X, where For all x belongs to U, every x belongs to U, there exists an element of the basis such that x belongs to B, which is a subset of U. So what is this definition all about? So if I know the real line, if I know intervals, then what are the open sets? So open set satisfy these conditions. So basically this is nothing but the condition of interior point, right? So if U is an open set, what is U is an element of tau? That means it is open set. So if T is topology. So set in tau is open if there exists a basis element which contains for every x there is a basis element which contains that x. So we will check in the next lecture that I have called this is a topology, but whether it satisfies all the three axioms of topology or not. So whether phi belongs to tau b, x belongs to tau b, it is closed under finite intersection, is it closed under arbitrary union. So this topology condition we will verify by this definition itself of the interior point. Right? So this should be, I think, enough for today lecture. If you have any doubt, you may ask.
Sir, I please repeat this definition once again.
Okay. So basis, did you understand?
Yes, sir.
Okay, sir. Capital X set is given. What is basis? Basis is a family of subsets of X which satisfies that two condition of the basis. So now suppose I
Yes,
have a
sir.
basis which satisfies that two conditions. So let us go back to the definition of basis.
Yes, sir. Basis is clear to me.
Yeah, but I want to explain what is this topology. So what we have defined here is I am given a set capital X, a basis for a topology on X. Now do you know what topology this, what is this tau? I'm saying B is a basis if it satisfies this property. B is a basis for some topology.
Yes, sir.
What topology? That we don't know.
Yes.
So that thing I am defining now. So basically to define tau, I have to define the elements of tau, right? Tau is a family. So how I am defining tau? I am defining this way. So if I know B is a basis on a set X, then what is this topology? That topology contains the sets which belongs to power set of X, only those U which satisfies this property. So U is a subset of X, U belongs to this tau. This is first of all a family of subsets of X. What will be elements of this family tau? Only those subsets which satisfies this property. What is this property? If I have said U which is subset of X, that U belongs to this tau, if for every element X in U, I can find one element in B, such that X belongs to B which is contained in this set. If U does not satisfy this property, it will not belongs to tau. So now is it clear how we are defining tau?
Yes, yes, sir. Yes, sir. Now it's clear.
Okay. So now once you know what is this family tau, what is the definition of tau, I explained now. Now this tau clearly contains two sets. What are the two sets? Phi and x. Right? And then we will check whether this family tau also satisfies finite intersection and arbitrary union. Using just this definition, we will verify that in the next lecture.
Okay, sir.
Okay, so I will come back to this example. You can also side by side read the book